Good evening, students. You are welcome to another lecture video on introductory section of biochemistry of macromolecules. So in our previous lectures, we discussed about both physiological and pathological chemistry. We discussed about introduction to cell and organelles that are found within the cell. And I have shared some lecture videos with you that you already watched. So in this lecture video, we are going to be discussing the biochemistry in details. So what is biochemistry? We first need to understand biochemistry before we talk about biochemistry of macromolecules. So the word biochemistry means chemistry of living things or chemistry of living organisms. It is basically chemical, it is the chemical basis for life. So life in biochemistry point of view is defined by hundreds of biochemical reactions and biochemical processes that occurs within living organisms. It's these chemical and biochemical reactions occur in subcellular organelles of a cell and in an organized manner. We talk about cell and its organelle. So we know organelles such as mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, nucleus, okay? So it occurs in subcellular organelles of a cell, and it's all the chemical and hundreds of reactions that occurs, they are in organized manner, catalyzed by enzymes, which are organic catalysts that facilitate the rate of chemical reactions within living organisms. So biochemistry is a branch of life science which deals with the study of biochemical reactions and processes that occur in living organisms. It is the branch of science or branch of life science that study biochemical reactions and processes that occur inside living organisms. So when we talk about branches of biochemistry, we need to understand that toxicology is the science for safety, and it is part of the branches, is one of the branches of biochemistry. We talk about enzymology, enzyme catalyzed reactions, the study of enzymes and their actions. We talk about enzymology, and it is one of the branches of biochemistry. We talk about molecular biology and biotechnology. We will also discuss about lipids and carbohydrate chemistry. These are some parts of the branches of biochemistry. And we talk about natural products biochemistry, where we can see that some drugs are from nature, and these drugs are actually isolated from either plants or some microorganisms. And these drugs are having wide application in the pharmaceutical industry for the treatment of various illness and diseases. So when we talk about another branch of biochemistry, which is medical biochemistry, it deals with the chemical basis of human body. And clinical biochemistry also is another branch which deals with the clinical diseases or pathological conditions of human body. So when we talk about clinical biochemistry, it supports in diagnosis to know which disease is actually affecting a particular individual, and the therapy or what kind of treatment is going to be administered or given to the patient, and also in research of medical field and research of these diseases and their basis, and also help in designing proper treatment and intervention. So also talk about bacterial biochemistry, which deals with the biochemistry of microorganisms. Microorganisms also, they are living things. They also undergoes chemical reaction, biochemical reactions. So bacterial biochemistry deals with the reactions that occurs in the microbes. Plant biochemistry deals with the reaction that occurs in plants. And animal biochemistry, it also deals with animals. So when we talk about industrial biochemistry, this is another branch of biochemistry that deals with industrial products that are involved with microorganisms. So when we look at the history or historical development of biochemistry, we have to look as far back as the late 18th and early 19th century. And the term biochemistry was first introduced by the German chemist Karl Neubach in 1903, when written during 1940s, clinical biochemistry as a field evolved as an autonomous field. So we have to look at some scientists or some researchers that dedicated their life towards the development of what we are seeing today as biochemistry. These researchers are many, but here this table highlights some few of them, their work, and also the discovery that they did. So number one on top of the list is Bacillus. Bacillus is a Swedish chemist. John Jacob Bacillus is a Swedish chemist that discovered the first to discover what we call enzymes. So he was the first to discover and know that enzymes are catalysts, they are organic catalysts. And the second one is Edward Buckner, which discover enzyme extraction. We all know Louis Pasteur, been hearing about Louis Pasteur. His work was on fermentation processes. We have Lohmann, which discovered the role of creatine phosphate in muscles. We have Hans Krebs. You remember Krebs cycle from ordinary biology, O-level biology, Krebs cycle, or tricarboxylic acid cycle, TCA cycle. He was the scientist that discovered the TCA cycle, and it was named after him, Krebs cycle. We have Banting and MacLeod, discovery of insulin. And insulin, as a health student, you know the function of insulin and the role it plays in the body, and it's the role it plays in the diabetes disease. So we have Fiske and Subaru. They discovered role of ATPs. And we have Watson and Crick, Francis Crick, which they discovered double-stranded DNA as a double-stranded molecule. We have Landsteiner discovered the protein structure, Peter Michel, oxidative phosphorylation, Nirenberg, genetic code on messenger RNA, Holberg, recombinant DNA technology, or what we popularly can interchange as what genetic engineering. Kary-Mullis, discovery of PCR, polymerase chain reaction, and Govind Khorana, an Indian American biochemist that was the first to synthesize, to chemically synthesize oligonucleotide. He was the first to synthesize gene. So all these people that dedicated their lives, all the scientists that dedicated their life in order to shape the biochemistry as a whole subject. So we need to appreciate them. And why do we need to study biochemistry? Why? Upon all the work that all those scientists did in order to make things more easier for us to understand this. So why do we study biochemistry? We study biochemistry in order to know the various biomolecules that are composed in the human body, the chemistry, their chemistry or their structure, their occurrence, their location, the functions they play or the role they play in the body. So determination of also of mode of action of biomolecules. So how do we know whether a particular biomolecule is actually acting as a molecule on its own? How does it act on the body? And how do we know whether that particular biomolecule is either being, be it a protein, is it an enzyme or a receptor on the surface of the cell? How do we know that biomolecule is having that particular action? Is by first isolation and structural elucidation of that particular biomolecule, similar to what happens in insulin. So you understand completely all the organized biochemical processes that occur in living organisms at the molecular and subcellular level. So identification of disease mechanisms, how some certain diseases, whether metabolic or inherited disease, how does this disease now how does the pathogenesis of this particular disease, or what are the mechanisms by which these diseases uh, uh, occur in the patient. So study of inborn errors of metabolism, study of oncogene in cancer cells. Oncogenes, they are a gene that has the potential to cause cancer. So for medical biochemistry, we can see medical or human biochemistry is a branch of biochemistry which deals with biochemical constituents of human body, their interactions in the body cells to maintain normal health, growth, and reproduction and related diseases. So when we talk about medical biochemistry, we are talking about human biochemistry. So in essence, all the chemical processes that occurs either in normal health or normal condition or in disease condition. So this medical biochemistry tends to now understand the interactions between the macromolecules in the body and the body cells. So how does the cells now utilize the macromolecules that are available? Can the cell, for instance, after taking dietary carbohydrate digestion take place, releasing the end product of carbohydrate digestion in the blood, which is glucose? Can the cells be able to take the glucose? What are the cascade of signals that occurs before the cell now take the glucose and utilize it either for energy or other processes? So will that cell be able to recognize the glucose and take it? What are the functions of insulin? How does insulin communicate to the cell to open doors? And those doors, they are protein membrane transporters. How does the cell recognize that insulin is signaling those transporters to open their doors so that glucose can be transported in? So all this, in normal healthy condition, these processes take place normally, but in disease conditions such as diabetes, you see that there are abnormalities in the glucose metabolism. So what are the chemical composition of human body? Study of biochemical aspect of cell and its subcellular organelles. To study the study of various biochemical constituent of cell. We talk about the chemistry, properties, functions, metabolism, and related disorder. We talk about biomolecules, carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, vitamins, minerals, and water. And we are also going to be introducing the concept of nutrition and metabolism of macromolecules. the study of food and its constituents. We're talking about dietary nutrients that build human body and maintain healthy condition. So the major prerequisite for the maintenance of health is that there should be optimal dietary intake of constituents with good quality and appropriate quantity. Biochemical research has impact on nutrition and preventive medicine. So metabolism of biomolecules involve ingestion of that particular biomolecule. After ingesting it, digestion of the part of the biomolecule to break it down into simpler forms. Because, for instance, when you take carbohydrate starchy food, let's say you take rice, you eat gari, pounded yam, these are complex carbohydrates that the body cannot, like in that form, to take it. It has to undergo the process of digestion, and that the digestion produces the end product, which is the glucose. Now, the cells now and the tissues of the body recognize that simpler form, glucose, and can be able to take it. Now, after they take it, that is the process of what absorption. So, what now is the medium for transportation, which is the blood, transport it from one region of the body to where it is needed. Transport in the sense that from one region to another, and within the cell from one compartment to another. So an uptake and also assimilation of the food constituents in the human body. So we also talk about metabolism. Since we are talking about metabolism, we need to know that metabolism is divided into catabolism and anabolism. Catabolic reactions are those reactions that break down large polymeric units into simple monomeric units, while anabolism is the reverse, from building of polymeric units from the simple monomeric unit. So the catabolic and anabolic pathways related to biomolecules for human vitality. We are talking about energy-rich biomolecules that get metabolized or catabolized in the body cells to liberate chemical form of energy in form of ATP, and it is used by various body for use for various body. It is used by various body cells and tissues for various body activities. Now, various biomolecules are biosynthesized to perform vital functions of the human body in the process of anabolism. So to maintain normal health of a human body, biomolecule in human body needs to have a cooperatively with good coordination, and also regulation and interrelationship needs to be properly be in place. So what are the roles of important biomolecules? We can say carbohydrates is a biomolecule that serves as primary source of energy. We talk about lipids, which are the fats and oil that serve as secondary source of energy. They also produces energy, and the energy they produce is almost twice the energy that carbohydrate produce. Talk about proteins, which are the structural and functional units of human body, which are of prime importance and survival of human beings. Talk about vitamins, which can either be fat-soluble vitamin or water-soluble vitamins, which have specific function and serve as accessory growth factors. Fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K, they are all fat-soluble vitamins, while water-soluble vitamins, vitamin C or ascorbic acid, and vitamin B complex. All the B complex are water-soluble vitamins. Talk about minerals, which are inorganic elements. We have the major and minor elements, and they are important in building and in proper building and functioning of human bodies. Talk about enzymes, which are biological catalysts that catalyze specific biochemical reactions of metabolic pathways, and they are considered as functional units of metabolism. We have the hormones, which are the endocrine substances and the chemical substances of human body. They bring good coordination and regulation of enzyme activities and of metabolism. And we also have to understand that these elements of molecular biology, we are talking about nucleic acids and molecular genetics. We are talking about DNA and RNA, which are important in protein synthesis. And this DNA and RNA are the genetic material that are found in the nucleus of the cell. Okay, and we have some other organelles that are able to accommodate this genetic material, like mitochondria. We have mitochondrial DNA that is found in that organelle. They are important control of gene expression. They are involved in control of gene expression, and we are going to be seeing that these nucleic acids are important in recombinant DNA technology, genetic engineering. So the biochemical processes of human body include membrane transport, which we are talking about the transport mechanism and signal transduction and signal transduction. How does the cell membrane has receptor? How does the now cell allow communication between outside and inside of the cell? How does the cell now allow some molecules to go inside or outside of the cell? Okay, we talk about biochemical mechanisms of hormone action and cellular homeostasis, talk about functions of neurotransmitters and oxygen transport, bioenergetics, mitochondrial respiratory chain, and also the immune response. So what are the interrelationships of biochemistry? Biochemistry is related to almost every subject of medicine. We can find its importance in the study of physiology, the study of pathology, pharmacology, immunology, microbiology, toxicology, medicine and allied subjects, community medicine, nutrition, and genetics. So we are going to stop here, and we are going to continue for our next class when we meet. And by now, you should have added more knowledge. I believe when you come in here at the end of this lecture, I believe you must have added value to you. So kindly click on the subscription button to subscribe, and also to click on the notification bell so that whenever we uploaded a new video, you are not going to miss it. So thank you for watching, and see you next. Bye-bye.